Meet Dr. Lois Lee. When she found 11-year-olds working as prostitutes in Hollywood, she took them home. She built the first drop-in center, ran street programs across the West, and created a world-class home for kids nationwide. Dr. Lois Lee didn't just start a movement, she's rescued over 17,000 kids from sex trafficking. Now she's pulling back the curtain so you can meet the kids who changed her life and hear the truths no one else will tell. Welcome to the Dr. Lois Lee Show.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lois Lee. Today I have Nora with me. Hi, Nora.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing well. I can't complain.
So, Nora, you're on the alumni committee. You get to determine who gets scholarships and who doesn't.
I had got asked by you if I was interested in it because I felt that Children of the Night had helped me as much as I needed. So when I got asked to be on the committee, I was a little nervous because I didn't know what to expect out of it. But since I've been on the committee and being able to see other people that went through the program and that are, determined to better their life and expand their future, to be able to help make that decision and granting their scholarships is amazing. I get to see where they once were because they were in the same position I was in and where they are now and how their life has gotten better and how Children of the Night has helped them, grow into who they are today. And, they see that they're worth more than what we thought we were when we were younger or when we were in that position. So being able to help them, with their future, it feels amazing.
So, as part of that responsibility, you also are required to come to the high school graduations each year and present diplomas. Tell us about that experience.
Oh, so 2 years ago was the first time that I attended, and it was the second graduation that Children and I had had, and it was amazing. I got to share my experience with these young people that want to continue to better their future. And this year, when I went and I was able to pass out diplomas to more graduates, it felt this hole that I felt that I had in my heart. I feel like I haven't done enough to give back. And being able to give those diplomas to them and congratulate them on their success. It was an amazing feeling. And to be able to just give back just a pinch of what you've given us, it felt amazing. And I can't wait for next year and the years to come to be able to see everybody's success and see that they can go anywhere that they put their mind to. And just because you have a past, that doesn't hold it, against your future. It kind of builds a pathway to it. And I mean, we've been through hell and back, and just to see that it didn't hold them back, it's just amazing. It's beautiful.
Tell us about your life today.
Today, I am a full caregiver for my mother. She's in the early stages of dementia. I quit my job after 7.5 years of being an assistant manager. To a wonderful boss. I moved out here to Texas to take care of my mother. And I'm in school right now to be a nail technician. Me and my sister plan to open our own salon. My daughter, she wants to go to cosmetology school. And so I will be the nail tech. My sister is going to be the barber, and my daughter's going to be the cosmetologist. And we plan to make it a family business. So that way, it's passed down. So it'll be passed down to mine and my sister's kids and hopefully their kids and on. So that way we keep a family business going.
How did you find Children of the Night, and what was that like?
Children and I actually kind of found its way to me a little bit. So after the incident where the FBI kicked in the door to the hotel room I was in, and I got taken to juvenile hall. After being in juvenile hall for about 2 weeks, I got a visit from FBI. I didn't want to see them. I didn't want to talk to them. Um, I was kind of, trying to keep my mouth quiet and just not say anything. They came and talked to me. They let me know that they've known everything. They've been investigating it for years. And they gave me two choices. The two choices that they gave me was to one, either stay in juvenile hall, or two, to go to Children of the Night and go through the program. And I didn't want to stay locked up, so I chose to go to the Children of the Night. And so that's how I was able to be involved.
And what was that like? How long were you at Children of the Night? You were in the shelter home, right?
Yes, ma'am. I was in Children of the Night from about 2010 to 2011. On and off. I did have my little rough patches there where I ran away and came back. And
What happened when you came back?
Okay, so when I came back, so I called you guys, got me a cab to come back there. And when I got to the front, I was ready to go back to my room. And they're like, you can't go back to your room. And I was like, what do you mean I can't go back to my room? I'm back here. And they said no. And they had called you and they were like, what do you want to do? And you said, she has to go to this program for like a week or two. It was like another shelter. Um, and I had to go there and I had to complete that program in order for me to come back.
Do you know
And
why we had that policy?
I don't remember, but I think it was,
It was to stop recruiting. And it was is to make sure that you really wanted to come back because many shelters, girls come in just to recruit and then they leave. And we didn't know who you had contact with. We knew there were bad people, they weren't good people that you were with out there. So we didn't know if they were sending you back just to get more kids. So we really wanted to see, and we didn't want kids to think that you could just run out the door and come right back. There had to be, it was chaotic enough with 24 kids living together to add that craziness to it just didn't work. So you went to another shelter. What was that like?
it was different. It made me appreciate Children of the Night a lot more. Um, we didn't get the attention that we got there. We didn't get that one-on-one. They kind of just like let us do whatever we wanted, and it wasn't structured. And being at Children of the Night, it was structured. We got that love and that care, but it was like, okay, you wake up, you go to school, you're able to go rest for a little bit. We got to do transitional meditation. So there was a schedule, and there was no schedule there, and it kind of felt different. It didn't feel, you didn't feel that love, you didn't feel that sense of comfort. um and I was ready to go back. Like as soon as I got there, I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. After a couple days, I was like, I want to go back. Children's Night was my home. I didn't like it. I didn't feel that warmth, so it was different.
And so what did you like about Children of the Night the most?
The most, I felt loved. I felt wanted. I'm gonna get emotional. I'm starting to already get
That's
emotional.
okay.
I felt that love that I was missing. And not to say that my dad didn't show me love or my stepmom didn't show me love. It was a different type of love. It was a non-judgment love. Um, you never felt like you weren't wanted or that you weren't enough. And you and the staff that you picked, because you picked them so carefully, there, it was just amazing. I looked at them as, aunties, and it was just beautiful. I still look at you as my mom. I'm always like, that's my mama Lois. You've always you've always been there and just had open arms, but you've always been straight up and honest. You've never sugarcoated anything. So it's just been amazing, and I can't thank you guys enough.
So how long did you stay the second time you came back? Did you stay longer than the first time?
I did. The first time I was only there like a couple of months. I want to say I was there like maybe 3 months before I ran away. And then I stayed I stayed about like 9 months after. And that's when I was about to to turn 18, and I had talked to my case manager, and I was still on probation. And I was like, I have a record. I want to get it closed. I want to be off probation, before I turn 18. And she worked with me, and we were talking to my probation officer. We were talking to supervisors. We were talking to everybody to be able to expunge my record, to be able to get me off probation before I turned 18. So that way it wouldn't carry into my adult life.
And were we successful?
We were very successful. I got off probation. I was able to go home. Um, there's no, record that's going to hold me back.
Hmm.
So it feels amazing, and I'm blessed to be able to, have had that help, because there's kids that are like me that still have that juvenile record, and it's carried with them into their adult life. And so I'm blessed to be able to say that I don't have a record that anybody's able to see.
So, what was it like when you went back home?
It was different. But I knew that I was set up for success. I knew that I still had the assistance of Children of the Night. But it was definitely an adjustment. It was an adjustment from having people that constantly cared about you, that you were able to turn to for help at any given moment, to kind of figuring out life on my own. I only had a couple months till I only actually had like a month and a half until I turned 18. So it was me trying to figure out how am I going to maneuver through adulthood, and not have this set structured life for me. Because like I said, it was structured in there. We had times for everything. And so I didn't know how I was going to do it. And I was still had contact with my case manager, and she helped me, figure out how to get through adult life and what to do and how to put myself on a schedule, how to keep myself busy in a positive way. So, my case manager was amazing there. And I'm so thankful that even when I left, I still had assistance. And, still to this day, I know that, like, if I need advice or I need help trying to figure something out, I can always call in Children of Night to help me there.
Mm. So, did you get your high school diploma at Children of the Night?
I got my GED there. Miss Ventura and Maddie worked extremely hard with me. I started on my GED when I went to juvenile hall. I didn't pass one of my tests, so I had to study for that. And when I got back to Children of the Night, Maddie and Miss Ventura were like on top of me like white on rice. They they didn't let I tried to hide from Miss Ventura in my bathroom, in my closet. She found me. And they didn't give up on me. No matter how much I wanted to give up on myself, they never gave up on me. They always gave me that sense of hope. So with that push of help, I was able to get my GED there.
Did you take the keyboarding course?
I did. I hated it. That was
Did you learn to keyboard in spite of yourself?
I did. I did. I dislike it, but I did. I still go off key a little bit, but somehow still position my fingers back to normal. Um, but yeah, that was just one of my least favorite things. I'd rather lay my head on the desk and sleep, but they didn't let me.
So, did you participate in the county science fair?
I didn't. I was actually able to go and witness some of the girls that did it. I still talk to some of the girls that did it, and it's still good to have a relationship with them. So
Oh, good. I'm glad. Are you still in touch with your Children of the Night caseworker?
I'm not. She's no longer there. But yeah, she's no longer there. But I do keep in. I talk to them every now and then, because Children Night has helped my kids with tutoring, and my kids are excelling, and they have a really close relationship with their tutor. If they ever have any troubles at school, they know like, hey, this is what I'm, having issue in. And I just actually was talking to my daughter the other day. She's like, Mom, I'm learning this in school. I don't know how to do it. And I'm like, well, is that something you think you need to, ask your tutor for help with? She's like, yes. She's like, I have tutoring with her today, so I'm going to do it. So
What? happened to you that you ended up at Children of the Night?
So I ran away from home. Me and my dad had gone into an argument, and it's the first time that I ever hit my dad. And I was in such shock because my dad's this m older, military man, and he's built different. And we had got into an argument. And I got upset and I hit him, and that's when reality hit me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I hit my dad. And he hit me back, and I was like, I'm done. I can't do this. And I ran away from home. I was sleeping outside, and um I didn't know where to go. I didn't know comfort outside of my home because I was never really able to go outside and be free and live. I was kind of trapped inside my house. My dad just never let us go outside. So I went to the park that I used to go to with my siblings, and I used to sleep inside of the slides. But the one place that I felt most comfortable is a building where I took my anger management classes. For some reason, it brought me a sense of like comfort and peace, even though it was outside. And so that was right across the street from this bus station. And I had went across to the bus station, and I seen this guy that I had talked to like a couple of times. I had seen him, and we just had like quick little conversations. And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Do you want to go chill? Do you want to hang out?" And I was like, "Sure," because I had nowhere to go. I had nothing to do. And so I was like, sure. We had pulled up to this Motel 6, and it kind of looked sketchy, but I was just like, I don't have anything else to do. So we went in there, and we chilled for a little bit, and we were smoking and drinking. And, as we were doing that, this lady eventually walks in, and she hands him like a wad of cash. And I don't think anything of it. I'm young. I was just like, oh, whatever. But my dad also told me like when people are handling business, you kind of mind your own. And so she was telling him about how her day was, and I kind of just like went off and just like blurted out, didn't really pay any attention to it. We just hung out the rest of the night, and in the morning, he's like, "Hey, we got to check out, but we're going to another hotel. Do you want to come?" So we ended up going to the new hotel room, and that's kind of where it started. It started off, where he was talking to me, and he was like, "Oh, let's date. You're gonna be, my girlfriend," and it started there, and I was like, "Okay, cool." And it went from me being his girlfriend to, hey, I have a friend. And he wants to join in, and he's like, we can kind of make this like a whole relationship thing. And and I was like, okay, I fell head over heels for this guy so quickly because he showed me love that I never got from a man. And so it went from his friend into other people. And, when I was like, I don't want to do this, it was more of a, you don't have a choice. This is what you're going to do, and you can't leave the situation. I got pictures shown to me of my family. He knew where my family lived. He knew, um, he knew where my siblings went to school. And I mean, I know it's not hard to find out once you know where somebody lives, but to see pictures of my dad, my stepmom, and my siblings, and to think if I leave, something can happen to them, it scared me. I I felt like I had no choice but to do anything he told me to because he knew where my family was. I didn't know what he was capable of. He was in a gang, so and I didn't realize how deep of a gang he was in until like I want to say maybe a month in is when I knew like how deep in it he was and how big they were.
What was the name of the game?
I don't recall it's a gang in Oceanside,
Mhm.
and the FBI had been watching them for years, even before I came along. They had been building a case against them.
Did they rescue you from him?
They did. I was at the Travelodge Hotel. It's it was all over the news. It was in the newspapers. It was everywhere. I was at the Travelodge Hotel, and they busted in the door. And it was me and two other girls. We were sitting on the bed, and it was our pimp and one of the other girls' pimps. And we were sitting on the bed. They busted in the door and they told everybody to get on the floor, put their hands on their head, and they put everybody in handcuffs but me. And they were like, Nora, we know who you are and we know what's been going on. And I was like, I don't know who this Nora is that you're speaking of. And they're like, we've been watching you. We have been seeing you come in and out of here. They're like, we know who you are. We know you're on probation. We know you're on the run. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And so they took everybody out of the room but me. They left me in there. And one of the FBI agents that had been working with me afterwards, she was the one that stayed in there, and she was showing me pictures of my mom, my brothers, my sisters, and she goes, "Are you sure you don't know who this Nora is that we're speaking of?" And I broke down and I was like, "Yeah, it is me." And she goes, "We know." She goes, "We've been watching you for months." She's like, "We just needed the right time to be able to take them down." And she had let me know that they had been working on this case for years. They know the ins and outs of what they do, where they go, and how many girls that they've, been using and abusing for, so many years. And she said, "We do have to take you in." And they took me to juvenile hall. So that's how I ended up getting caught.
Did you have to testify against them?
I didn't. Thankfully, I had the choice not to because they already had so many witnesses that they were putting on the stand that it was my choice whether I wanted to or not. They said that they were willing to prep me and walk me through every step of it, but I didn't have to if I didn't want to, and I chose not to.
Did you know how dangerous he was when you were with him?
I didn't. I didn't think that he was even that dangerous. And you would have thought that after seeing him beat the heck out of one of the girls, that I would have been like, he's dangerous. But I've been used to seeing a man beat on a woman growing up. So to me, it was the normal. And that's sad to say, but to me it was. I was, if a woman didn't stay in her place, then that's what a woman deserved. And I didn't realize how dangerous he was until like a couple months in, like a month or so in. And once I figured out how deep in this game he was, it scared me because he knows people everywhere. And I realized that he actually knew people that I knew before I even met him.
So you had mentioned that you were on probation before you ran away. What were you on probation for?
I had taken the blame for one of my really good friends. He stole out of my house, and I didn't think that my dad was going to press charges against me. And my dad said, "You want to take the blame for somebody else, then you're going to be held responsible for it." And he pressed charges against me. And I thank my dad to this day that he did that because it showed me not to take the blame for anybody else. Um, because you can ruin your whole future if you're taking blame for something that you didn't do. So that's why I was originally on probation, is for theft. Um, and it kind of just trickled along.
Do your children know what happened to you?
They do now. I had kept it from them because I didn't want them exposed to that life. But 2 years ago, when I went to the first graduation, I was unsure whether I wanted to bring my kids or not, but I felt like bringing my kids to the first graduation would be a great way to open that door to tell them what happened to me, because I want them to see that even though I was there,
Hmm.
I'm where I am now, and other people that were there are where they are now. And that even though you go through these trials in life, you can make it somewhere. And my daughter told me after, she came up to me and she hugged me and she's like, Mom, I'm sorry. And I'm like,
Oh.
what are you sorry for? And she said, I thought you were just mean to be mean. She's like, I thought, you told me not to do certain things or to hang out with certain people. I wish you would have told me.
Mm.
And I told her I didn't tell you because I wanted to shield you. And she told me she wishes that I didn't shield her because she would have given me so much hell and she wouldn't have been upset at me because she would have known that I was trying to steer her from where I was.
Mhm.
And I wish I would have told my kids sooner. And I think it took till then for me to realize that I can't be ashamed of my past. Um, because I felt like maybe that's why. Maybe in my head I felt like, oh, maybe I'm shielding my kids from this, but I think maybe it was more of I was ashamed. I was ashamed of my past and I didn't want anybody to know. And now I don't care.
Mhm.
Now I'm like it shaped me into who I am. And it taught me a lot. It taught me it taught me so much more than I actually thought it would. Now that I sit there and think about it, and sometimes I'll sit there and I'll write in my journal about it, and it's still a healing process. I'm still healing to this day, but every time I'm talking about it, I write something out. I become like really emotional, because I feel like it's opening a wound to heal it.
Mhm.
I feel like I wasn't fully healed, and I've been learning over the past 2 years to own up to my past and to kind of heal from it and deal with it and use it to push me, further in life. Just because if I continue to try to hide it from myself and not heal from it, it's only going to hurt me more. So I've been opening little wounds here and there, writing and trying to fully heal from it because I thought I was healed, but every graduation I find a piece of me that's not. Um, and it's because we bury it deep down, at least. Well, let me speak for myself. I buried it deep down. And I've tried to just go on to life and live it. But burying it didn't heal me. And now that, and I didn't realize how much it didn't heal me until I had some life changes go on and I was trying to figure myself out. And I said, what makes Nora happy? And I remember when I was in therapy, when I was at Children of the Night, that's one question that my therapist asked me that stuck with me. She said, what makes Nora happy? And I was like, what do you mean what makes Nora happy? Making people makes me happy. She said, no, it can't be people and it can't be animals. She goes, what do you do that makes yourself happy? And I couldn't answer that. And she gave me homework. She made me go back and figure out what made me happy. And when I went back to my next session, I said, art makes me happy. Poetry makes me happy. And that's when she said, and that's when you start finding your happiness again. And that's when you start finding who Nora is again. When you take people out of the equation and you take animals out of the equation, what's left is what's you. And that's one thing that stuck with me. And so now when my kids, like I see my kids getting like so wrapped up in something or someone, I'm like, hey, what makes you happy? And if they can't tell me what makes them happy, I'm like, hey, you need to distance yourself and you need to go find yourself. You need to find what makes you happy. Because I've been teaching my kids that if you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody else.
Oh.
And that's important because I lost myself when I, got forced into prostitution. I didn't know what made me happy. I knew what made other people happy, but I didn't know what made me happy anymore. And I lost myself for years. And Children and I in therapy helped me find what makes me happy. Children and I allowed me to be a kid again, and not have to worry about anything.
This interview is going to have a part two. So please subscribe to the podcast and stay tuned.